We got the dark fruits. We got the shitty floral shirt and a bucket hat. Almost. But most of all, we got the indie bangers. Okay, welcome back to Rock Cycle, and in all serious now, today we're going to be looking at my personal top 10 indie rock acts at the moment. So now of course there's going to be quite a bit of personal bias going into this one, so please don't hate me too much if I miss out one of your favourite acts. But if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, we'll just get straight into it. Coming in at number 10 is Sunset Suns. Now I think this is going to be the most unusual one on the list, because they're not too well known. They've got quite an interesting backstory that they're basically a group of Australian surfers who needed money to fund their surfing habits, so created a band just for the fun of it, but they've actually done pretty well to it. They've got a bit of a unique, funky, groovy vibe to their music, and they really blew up a bit back in, was it 2014 I believe, when they supported Imagine Dragons on their UK tour, which helped really get their name out there a lot more than it already was. Because to be fair, they haven't really managed to grow too much by themselves. But I'll probably be doing a bit more of a video on them, going into more of the detail over the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that. Coming in at number 9 is the Wombats. Now I really think this is the standard solid British act for indie rock music. They're sort of just like the base level of good solid music, and that's really a lot of what it is to them. They do have a great range of musical styles and genres they sort of go into in each of their songs. Like, they do have a good, like, the songs aren't too repetitive or samey, which is I really like about them, which again annoyingly makes them a bit hard to talk about, but they're very happy, positive, vibing style music. Live they can be a bit of a hit or miss in my personal experience. But like, I just really can't, when it comes to them, like, they're good, they've got so many great songs, but I just can't really name any particular thing about them which really makes them stand out more than the others. So I did want to put them higher on this list, but it's just, they're good, but I feel there's nothing special about them, if that makes sense. Coming in at number 8 is Blossoms. Now damn, what a past couple of years it's been for them. They had a great first album, and by that I mean a great first song really, which just drove their initial success, which was Charlemagne. That's really all you heard off on the first album, but it still was enough to get them big, so fair play to them. But it did follow that up with a really great solid album full of funky, groovy music that is packed with energy. They really seem to be on track to be like a next level big indie rock band, like some of the band's names I'm going to be saying later on, so no spoilers. Now coming in next is Catfish and the Bottomland. Now again, this is another band that's really blown up in the past year or so, especially with the now soon to be released third album. And £150 for a fucking ticket to see them in Sheffield. If you followed me on Twitter, you'll see me post about that. I annoyingly missed out, didn't buy standing tickets the day they were released, and now they're all gone. And it's £150 to buy one. So that is really testament to how good the band is, that people can get away with charging that much, which is pretty ridiculous to be honest. Now for an indie rock act, they're probably one of the heavier ones I would say, which is partly why I like them, because I do like my heavy music too, which you probably see if you follow this channel. And they do remind me a lot of the traditional Britpop style rock. I think they're really like combining that with their indie rock things. And it's kind of mad they have got this successful from just 2 albums. Now they do have so many great songs just from 2 albums, it's surprising they've got this big already. But like, when I look at through all their music as a whole, there's not that much variety and different styles. It's all very similar, of like guitar driven rock, like a lot more traditional rock than indie in a heavier way. It's just sort of very similar, like it's all good music, but there's no uniqueness, there's no variety throughout them, which is again why they are unfortunately a bit lower down on this list in my personal opinion. So up next is Liam Gallagher. Now this one's really a bit of a cheat to be honest, because he has his Oasis pass, which, well, when you're looking at him as a solo artist, that gives him such an unfair advantage over everyone else. And I've tried to ignore that making this list, but to be honest I haven't, because you just can't ignore the Oasis past. They were such an iconic band, probably one of the biggest bands of all time and forever will be, and nothing will quite recapture the old wonders of how great they were, but he comes pretty damn close, to be honest, because he gets to play all those songs live. Well, at least when you see him at a festival, usually, not usually in his own shows. Well, he does do a bit, but not as much. He doesn't like to play the songs like Wonderwall and Live Forever. He likes to play his own songs more in his own concerts, but that's a different video in its own. But he's got some really solid solo songs, and I think it's really built on what he had in Oasis, but he's taken it from a rock and roll direction to more of a softer indie rock style direction with a lot more artsy feel to it rather than a rock feel to it, if that makes sense exactly. So I think it's really great that he's built on his past and he's created new music. He hasn't just relied on his old songs, he's still out there producing good things, and he's got another new album coming this year, I believe. Now, coming up just above him is Foals. These are one of the most unique acts going really out there in the world of indie rock. They've basically done it all. They go from like really beautiful, soft, slow songs like Spanish Sahara into high energy driven songs like Two Steps Twice, and that really captures the magical energy of indie rock, which is unique to the genre. It's hard to describe unless you experience it yourself, and they just really do it so well, so you got to give them applause for that. This band can really do it all, and that's what's so great about them. Like, they're such a versatile band, it makes them very hard to summarise for me quickly, but basically whatever kind of indie rock you like, they've probably done something that you'll like. And of all the different styles they've done, they put their all into it, so every style is done perfectly and done amazingly. They don't release bad music, they just put their all into it. Now, up next, we have the 1975. They had to be on this list somewhere. Whether you love them or hate them, they are an iconic big indie rock band at the moment, if you can even call them that, because they themselves don't even seem to be too sure what genre they are. Now, I know a lot of you will love them and a lot of you will hate them, and personally I'm not the biggest fan, but you do have to respect them, even if I think they're not as clever, not as unique and not as good as what everyone else seems to think they are. They are still a good band at the very, very least. We all know when they produce a new song, when it comes out, it's going to send a 13-year-old girl Twitter into a meltdown, and some of us along with it, because annoyingly, as much as you may love to hate them like I do, they do have some very great songs with a very unique styling, which makes them again such an annoyingly hard band to talk about. They've really got some catchy songs, some good songs. They've got good poppy vibes introduced to rock music, which really works well, which they are the masters of doing. So you just got to give them credit for that. Now, of course, coming in at number 4, we have the Cortinas. Now, where would an indie rock list be without these guys, of course? They are literally the personification of a can of dark fruits, which that joke is not getting old. Like, they've had unprecedented amounts of success for an indie rock band. They've really helped take the genre to the next level. They've almost broken into the mainstream. They seem to be lacking like mainstream radio play, but like when it comes to festivals and gigs, they're always there. This band is basically always on tour, and they fully deserve all the success they've had if you ever listen to them. They're really catchy, energy-packed songs which just make you want to jump up and down when you listen to them. And a lot of critics don't give this band enough credit for their originality, range and style. And if you haven't seen them live, you're really missing out, I'm going to tell you now. You may disagree with this band being that high up, because I don't think, well, for most people they're as deserving as being this high up. But what I've talked about a bit in this video, what I do really like is uniqueness in my music, like bands that aren't like anyone else, and bands that have a great range of styles of songs. And this band does that so well. And they've been a band that I've known about them since they've started, and have really been a personal favourite of mine since the beginning. So they do have a bit of a special place in my heart, so probably a bit of personal bias means they are up this high. But like, they are just a great band, that's all I can really say. Like, they have so many good songs and so many different sort of styles of heavy to softer styles of indie rock, that whatever kind of indie rock you'll like, you'll probably like a couple of their songs. Because as a genre itself, indie rock already has such range of styles and things going in it that it's really hard to even group all these bands together under one genre. And I think Nothing But Thieves takes influences and styles from all of it and puts them all together in one band. And they're really one of the best vocally driven indie rock bands. I think Connor is one of the best voices out there, and a lot of their music really helps to showcase that and show that he is a really phenomenal singer. He's also a great personality as well, which always helps. Now, coming in at number 2 is the Arctic Monkeys. Now, I'm not even exactly sure if this band is indie rock, like I've just said about the range of styles that can be defined in that genre makes it hard to even say what it is. But I'm pretty sure I would say they are that if they are any genre exactly. They really help bring indie rock and their genre and their styles into the mainstream. That has never been like that level before, to be fair. And I really love their chaotic styles of their early music, the energy and like this feeling that you don't know what's going to happen next when you listen to their early songs. Now, yes, they have lost that with their most recent album. Even their most recent album, which was very controversial, was probably one of the most clever albums I've seen in the indie rock genre. There's a lot of thinking gone into it. That's a very clever album, which I feel this genre is lacking a lot. Because I like music that has a bit more of a meaning behind it, a bit more of a story and a lot of thought gone into it, which I feel a lot of indie rock does not focus on as much as I would like to. I'm not saying no artists out there are doing it, I'm just saying it could be done more. And to be honest, you don't even need me to talk about the band. I'm sure you all know them. They're just a great, iconic band, and if you're not listening to them, do that right now. And finally, coming in the number 1 spot is a band that I absolutely love, and I hope you guys do too if you know them, and that is Two Door Cinema Club. Now, I think over the years they've put a lot of work in, they put a lot of effort, so I think they're very deserving of this spot. I'm going to say, when I first started to listen to them, I didn't really like them. I didn't really get the style of music they had, and I just sort of didn't appreciate them enough. But over time, I've come to realise that they are such a great and iconic band, like everyone else seemed to think. They have so many iconic, great indie rock anthems that are just packed with energy, which again is a thing I really love in my music. They managed to take like a softer, like guitar-focused approach to indie rock, but still managed to pack it full of energy and catchy lyrics, and that is what is so great, and that's why I love them so much. Like, the songs are just instantly catchy classics, like the lyrics you just sort of really want to join in and sing them too. That's what makes them so great, and again, the uniqueness. That like their softer approach to it, but still managing to make it full of energy is what makes them great, because they're such a unique band that even in the indie rock world, well, personally, I don't know any other bands out there quite like them. So, well, that was my top 10 list. Let me know if you agree, and let me know if you disagree down below in the comments. And I would appreciate it personally if you subscribe, like or comment, as we are pushing towards 100 subscribers on the channel at the moment. And if you'd like to take the extra step and want to follow on Twitter, that's at rock__cycle. I'll see you in the next video.